remiss if I didn't recognize someone who has been a major leader in this community. I mean, some of you here are old enough to know that this community was the very location where we initiated the Voting Rights Act. And as a result of that, I mean, some of you may remember when we didn't have a congressional district here. But I would like to recognize the former congressman from this community, Major Owens. And just on that note, because of the topic that we're going to talk about this evening, it's not only important to recognize his presence, but you should also know something about his impact. I know because I was involved at the State Education Department in the late 80s, and that was a time when we were also talking about school reform. And it was Congressman Owens that reminded us that it's one thing to raise the standards, it's another thing to provide the conditions so that all youngsters can meet the standards. And he introduced, by the way, the concept of opportunity to learn standards. So it's important that you understand that while you can go on the internet and Google opportunity to learn, the man who originated that is with us this evening. Right. So I believe we should, if we could just go to the first slide. One of the, and I'd like to put my remarks in a context. One of the challenges that we face in American education is how do we do two things? How do we, on one hand, ensure that our country is competitive in the global marketplace, and on the other hand, while we're trying to be competitive, how do we ensure that all of our young people, that we're not just raising the ceiling, but we're also raising the floor, that we're creating opportunities for all young people to be competitive. And I will tell you that from the beginning of time in public education in this country, that's been a struggle. That's been an ongoing struggle. A manifestation of this, and this is perhaps the only quote that I'm going to read to you this evening, a study conducted by the Commission on Minority Participation in Education and American Life concluded the following. It said that if these disparities are allowed to continue, the United States inevitably will suffer a compromised quality of life and a lower standard of living. Social conflict will intensify. Our ability to compete in world markets will decline. Our domestic economy will falter, and our national security will be in danger. In brief, we will find ourselves unable to fulfill the promise of the American dream. Now, I would submit to you, you're probably saying, well, why is that important? We all know that that pretty much characterizes what's going on today. The sad thing is that report was written and issued in 1988. 1988. And so you can see what we're going to talk about today is not a new struggle. This has been an ongoing struggle. And we recognize that each generation, when they've tried to take this on, we've all identified the problems. And typically what we do when we identify a problem, we try to find someone and make them guilty. And we go on this search for the guilty, we make them guilty, and we do something to that person. But here is the challenge. The challenge is that that strategy really hasn't worked. We heard about today's announcement. I've been around long enough to see 12 chancellors. So the truth is, as Don Cheadle said in Hotel Rwanda, no one is coming to save us. We've got to save ourselves. So with that as a backdrop, we can go to slide 1.